Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to hear an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, it sounds like he's probably in his 50s. He's been married for 30 years, he says, and he's been married to what he says is an awesome woman. Just traditional, submissive, great gal. And he started finding RP content not too long ago to help his son, make sure his son doesn't fall into the trap that a lot of, unfortunately, young guys do. But anyhow, as a fan of my work, he wanted to share a story about events that happened back in the 90s, so we're talking about 25, 30 years ago with a guy he was friends with. And this friend of his started having an affair, sleeping with a married woman. And all the problems that arose from that. And like I say so many times in the videos, it ain't cool to go sleeping with some other guy's chick, whether it's a married woman or a woman in a relationship. I know there are other people that have channels like mine that don't care, but for me, I like to have a code, and it ain't cool to do that to other dudes. And so karma, which I think is definitely real, come back to really bite you in the butt, and you're going to see this here. And you're going to see on multiple fronts here. And I got to tell you, you're also going to see in this story here another example of once a cheater, always a cheater. So you get involved with a woman that cheats, the odds are you get involved with her and think that you're different, that she won't do it to you. Surprise, she will. And that will be, in essence, almost your karma for cheating on her and breaking up families, because this is what's going to happen here. But anyhow, guys, quick one. I think it's definitely a good one you guys will enjoy. So it starts off, he says, hello, SSM. I really enjoy your channel. I am married 30 years to an awesome, traditional, submissive woman. I began researching RP content a couple years ago in order to help my teenage son navigate the world. Your channel became a favorite. Well, brother, I thank you very much for your support, and I hope that these channels, including mine, help your son out so he doesn't make the mistake that a lot of young guys do. I really hope that you're encouraging your son to work hard and work smart, find something, a study, or whether it be pursuing a trade or certification or college, if it's the right thing, on his grind, doing well, not make the mistakes a lot of these young boneheads do, and also work, save money. So I'm sure you are, but I hope so. Anyway, I listened to one of your videos recently where the guy dated his waitress and left in the middle of the date because she was awful, and then later his blue-pilled friend began dating the same girl. The guy was concerned about talking to his friend about the girl because he did not want to hurt the friendship. That reminded me of a friendship story of mine from years ago. By the way, that story was very popular. I'm sure many of you guys saw it. I had a friend back in the 90s that I considered to be like a brother. I'll call him Mark. We hunted, fished, partied, and otherwise hung out with each other's families. He came to my house one evening and confessed to me that he just slept with Wanda, a married woman that worked with me at my company. Mark acted as if he wanted me to slap on the back and a high five. This surprised me because if Mark truly knew me, he would know that celebrating infidelity would never be my response. I never got it. Really. I mean, that's some other dude's chick, some other dude's wife. And you're going to see here this Wanda he's talking about has kids. And this dude is married and has kids. Because you're not just betraying your wife or your girl, but also the kids. That's how I see it. And we got to be above these awful gals that I talk about in these stories. If we do the same thing, we're no better than them. At first, I said nothing, but since he was looking for my approval and I was just silent, Mark asked me what I thought about the situation. My response was, do you really want to know what I think, or are you just asking? Mark said I was his closest friend and he really valued my opinion and he wanted to know. Like he couldn't tell by your silence that you obviously disapproved of doing this. I mean, come on here. I told him it was a very bad idea to have you-know-what with Wanda, pointing out that not only was she married, but also so was he. Mark told me she confided with him that she was not happy in her marriage. Gee, we never heard that one before. This is decades ago, so probably if this was now, she would say something along the lines of like, I don't know, he abuses me or something like that, trying to justify her actions. I told Mark that was no excuse. If Wanda was having marriage issues, then she needed to work it out with her husband. And Mark, sleeping with her was not only stupid, but he was going to blow up both marriages. Right. If you're not happy, either try to work it, figure out the problem, or end it. Sure, ending it ain't easy as just saying that. You got to talk to an attorney. You got to figure out a game plan, an exit strategy, the parts with the kids, all that. I get that. But life is short. But if you're going to go cheating on them, eventually you're going to get caught. Or there can be some unforeseen consequences like catching something, getting her pregnant, or meant all sorts of other things. Or having some angry husband come after you with a shotgun. Gotta think about these things. Mark then went on to say that he thought he might want a relationship with Wanda. Smack. It's amazing to me, these stories, when these guys cheat with another woman who's cheating and they think that she's relationship material, right? Because they end up doing the same thing to them. Because it's just how they are. That's their world. That's their way of doing things. But okay. He says, seriously, after only having you-know-what with her once, I told him an affair was the worst way to start any relationship, and this affair would poison any future relationship. Besides, what about his own wife and kids? Anyway, there's a question. Mark's kids were nearly grown, so he was about to have an empty nest. Wanda, on the other hand, had 2 preteen girls and a teenage boy, who she obviously doesn't give a crap about. With that, he chugged the rest of his beer and left. He never came to my house again, and never called me again. In our small town of 2,500 people, he acted as if I did not exist. So this is his buddy who he hang out with. I think he said hunting and fishing with. A bro. I think he even said a really close friend, if I remember. And just like that, because he didn't approve of him banging some married chick, therefore he's cutting this guy off. This goes to show you, when you give your real advice, guys, and you're trying to be honest to a friend, they may not like what you hear, and you could lose them as a friend. But in my opinion, you owe it to that friend. If you're going to be honest, if you're a good friend, you're going to tell them what you really think. But that sometimes it can blow up in your face. The next day, I had to work with Wanda, and to make things worse, I was workout friends with Wanda's husband, Tom, which made our next workout awkward. Tom was a great guy, and I think he treated Wanda great, by the way. Of course he did. And she's cheating on him. I was conflicted as to whether to tell Tom about the affair. I decided to take the week to figure out what I was going to do. But 4 days later, after Mark told me about the affair, it all blew up. Of course it did. That's how these things work. It's only a matter of time. You can set your watch to it. Later, when talking to Tom, I apologized and admitted that I heard about the affair just days before he found out. And he was hurt I did not tell him right away. And our friendship has never been the same. Yeah, you were rocking a hard place. Now, obviously it was days earlier and you didn't know you were going to be talking to the Mark character again and where things are going to go there. But yeah, I bet this guy was hurt, and I'm sure it's never been the same again. So, both couples divorced and Mark and Wanda got married. What a dumbass. Well, he probably thought she's different, right? She'll be different with me. Oh, it didn't make a difference with the other guys that cheated on, or the husband she cheated on. No. She'll be different with me. What do you think, guys? Do you think she's going to be different with this guy? That she'll be true and blue and love him to the day she dies, no cheating? Or is she going to be following her path and cheating on this guy left and right just as soon as you can imagine? At least this Tom guy, as sad as it was, he got out. He says, I would like to add that Wanda has been married 3 times before, and she cheated to end every single marriage. 3 times, now a 4th time to this guy's ex-friend Mark. How do you think this is going to go? Wanda has nearly bankrupted Mark's business with her credit card spending to the point that they were forced to exchange the large house and country property for a smaller house with a yard in town in order to help fix their financial issues. That sounds like karma to me. She also spends a lot of his money on her kids, and now grandkids, from her previous husbands. She sucked him in, no pun intended, and then got wrapped around, he was wrapped around her little finger, and then she proceeded to spend all his money and rack up so much debt. That's called karma. Unfortunately, he's never had a good relationship with his own kids since the affair. They were all grown kids, I can imagine. Reliable sources have told me that she has cheated on him twice, and he has stayed with her anyway. Plus, she put on 50 pounds and looks like she's aged an extra 10 years. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And karma. I know a lot of people don't believe in karma. I do. I've seen too much weird shit in my life to think otherwise. Mark and I have not spoken since that night, except for an occasional hello when bumping into him and Wanda at the ball field or a school function or a grocery store. A couple months before he slept with Wanda, I had signed over the deed to a pickup truck because he was in a bind and needed a vehicle, and he was going to pay me later. He did not have the decency to still pay me. This guy's something. Well, as much as you would love to have that money for the remaining money for that truck, the truck loan, well, you got to sit back and watch him pay like you wouldn't believe. This guy sounds like a fucking dick. I'm glad he's out of your life. If I had to do it all over again, I would tell Mark the same advice. But I would have told Tom about his wife cheating right away. I own that mistake. You're in a tough situation. But you know what? You're walking out of this. Yeah, you lost some money in that truck, but you no longer have that a-hole Mark in your life. And Tom, that poor guy who's cheated on, well, you know what? He doesn't have to deal with her anymore. But he was like her third husband anyway. Regarding Mark, a bad friend will tell you only what you want to hear, but a good friend will tell you the truth even if it stings. I gave him the advice I would have wanted from a trusted friend. In fact, a stiff kick in the ass while wearing a boot would have been warranted here. His reaction to my advice was all I needed to know that he was not a great friend that I thought he was. Besides, keeping my truck and not paying me. I've taught my son that if someone shows you who they are, and if they show you they are not your true friend or loyal spouse/girlfriend, then be grateful you found out and move on. Yeah, exactly. Keep up the good work, SSM, and I'll keep forwarding your videos to my son and his friends. Well, bro, good story. And I like the fact that he sent me this story, and this is about events that went down 25, 30 years ago. So it goes to show that human nature, female nature, all the things I talk about, it's timeless. Okay? Right there. 25, 30 years ago, same thing I'm talking about, like about events that happened just last week. So guys, like I said, the moral of the story is, once a cheater, always a cheater. And if you get involved with some girl and she's involved with another dude, that ain't cool. But karma can come back to bite you in the ass one way or another. It may take years, but it will. And also the fact that I should have written this down. I should have said it, but it's gone over my head. But the point is, important story here. Don't cheat. Don't do that. It will come back to bite you in the ass. And also, once a cheater, always a cheater. Do not think that you're with a girl and she's cheating on her guy and you get involved with her and you think that she's going to be different with you. That same thing won't happen again. You're out of your damn mind. It is only a matter of time before she does the same thing to you, because that is her character. End of story. That's her track record. And also, of course, guys, when it comes to friendships, a good friend will tell you the truth. They may not always like hearing what they hear, but as a good friend, you got to tell them. Okay, you may end up losing that friend, but then again, you may find out they weren't quite a friend to begin with, and may have been worth that happening anyway. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. It's a quick one, I know, but I thought it'd be a good one to cover. Occasionally do a quick video, because usually most of my videos are long. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And also, guys, you got a good story you'd like to share with me, something that happened either last week, last month, or I don't care, 25, 30 years ago like this story, send it over to me. Just make it easier for me to read, and I'll get to it when I can. This also includes good articles that are related to things I talk about on this channel, good stories that you might find on Reddit. And if it doesn't work for this channel, send me something that I could use for the other channel, They Did What, for all the crazy shit. Typically crazy Reddit stories and things like that. That definitely will come in handy. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.